G'day folks, Greg Budd from Bud's Baits here. Welcome to the African Lure Craftsman. In the ensuing episodes, we'll be taking you along while we design and handcraft timber lures and hopefully get out into the water to use them. I've designed lures for some of the big boys in the industry and I sell my lures worldwide. I'll do my best to show you some of the hacks I've learned along the way. Stay with us and experience the wonders of casting lures to bass, giant catfish, tigerfish in Zimbabwe, which I'm fortunate to call my home, and cross borders with us as we'll target the denizens of the deep all along the African coast in magical places such as Mozambique. Through it all, I'll share a bit of my daily life and business experience, which can be quite tough in Zimbabwe at times, as we take you along to run the daily gauntlet of survival. Subscribe and click the notifications button to stay with us. Good day folk, welcome back to the African Lure Craftsman and part 2 of our garfish build. Very miserable windy day outside here, as you can see, dressed up in our coats and everything. But today what we're going to do is we're going to take the garfish to the next step, which is now shaping the basic side profile, and then once we've done that we're going to shape the top profile. From there we'll get all the round edges on it and we'll get the basic body shape in play, and then we'll sectionalize it, or mark our sections at least, so we can actually start getting the detail, the planning, the weighting planning and all those things ready. So we're going to go to the sander now and we're going to start shaping the garfish. So we're here now with the our block of wood, our tracing on the wood of our robust garfish at our little sander here, and we're going to get the basic shaping done. So let's start on that, wearing glasses, something to just stop the dust, and everything's blowing all over the place with the wind. Let's go. You'll notice me sanding across the grain as well. It actually bites away wood a lot quicker, I find, just to get the different angles on there. So I'm going to be turning the wood this way and that just to get the basic shape, then we'll refine it a little bit later. We've now shaped our side profile of our gar, looking very good. I think you'll all appreciate that that's going to be quite a slick looking lure, I think. And I think it's just going to get better and better as it progresses. Where we're going from here is we've got to do the top profile. And believe you me, I did a thorough search on the internet and I didn't come up with much. In fact, I found only one picture of a garfish. Now, we could always remember things. We all remember things from catching garfish or catching different species, what they look like. But I think it's very important to try and get this as realistic as possible and to get those profiles right. So the picture I found, as you can see, is not a great one. But it does show us the head and the beak profile from the top. And that's what we're going to try and transfer onto this piece of wood here so we can shape that top shape. Wowza. Okay, so bearing in mind we're missing a little bit of the beak here, or the bill, so we're going to start it further back. And what we've got here is from about there, which is the front of the mouth. I'm looking at the side here on the tracing. We've got quite a wide area, and it basically goes in that shape back towards the gills. Make sure that's even. We will take measurements on this just now. I'm just trying to get a rough on here first. And then that bill It's quite broad, broader than I actually remember. Again, thus the importance of using reference material. And we'll take that back there, and then it's pretty much a straight body. We'll put a bit of a curve in it all the way back, past the gills. The gills go quite far back actually. I'll line them up with my drawing on the side here, and then it tapers off quite quickly towards the tail in a gradual curve. Now what you can do to get it exact is always draw a center line down your piece of wood, measure it, which I'll do now, trace the one side, and then just copy it over. That's the best way to get it exact. So let's just do that very, very quickly. Here's our ruler. We'll measure our piece of wood. We've got 2.9. We're going to call it, okay, so that's fine. So just under 1.5. There. We got the same there. So just under 1.5 there. We will draw a center line down here. Well, this is why I like using plastic rulers. You can bend them and manipulate them around your curved wood. Yeah, that's touching that one. That's touching that one. Let's just get this straight. And there we have it. So you can see how off I am here already, which is a very, very good indication of why to use tracing paper and get it done properly. We all make mistakes, just shows. So we'd bring that in more here. And we'd do it an equal sort of proportion. That goes around there. But now, quickly, what we'll do is we'll just trace that. And we'll do our center line as well, so we know where to place that. Very rough, but just so we can get a good idea of where it is. All we do is flip that over, put the center line in place, which is there, and we copy it, which it looks pretty right where I've drawn it there already. Probably a very faint impression we're going to get on the other side of this, but as long as it's there. Yeah, that came out well. Okay, so now we've got our profile there. Bearing in mind, guys, this is quite rough. We might end up shaving a little bit of material off the sides again. Basically, as we go along, we'll look at it, we'll see if it looks right, and we'll get the shape right eventually. So that's what we've got so far. It does thin out quite a bit towards the tail. I always, when I do the rough shaping, I take it to the outside of the pencil line. Don't want to take off too much material. And then I'll give it some curvatures and maybe a little bit of a concave curve there. Basically for swim. A lot of it's for swim, so I can get a good swim on the bait. And yeah, let's get to the sanding machine. So there we have it, guys. We have the shape taking form here. We've done our side profile, looking very, very interesting, and our top profile there. So it's beginning to look more and more like a garfish, a half beak, a ballyhoo, whatever you want to call it. And now what we have to do is we're going to have to start rounding the edges and start getting a full 3D form. And how I'll normally do that is I'll do the rough on the machine on the belt sander, and then I will fine tune it with a wood rasp and very rough sandpaper. So we're going to get to that right now and take this baby to another level. I don't know if you've ever played around with half beaks or garfish, but they've got kind of a roundy square sort of profile. If you take a cross section and look at it, it's almost a perfect sort of square with just round edges, or rectangle rather, elongated rectangle. So I'm just going to take off the edges here, try and do it evenly all the way down. We'll leave a lot of the tail because that I like to do by hand. It's far too easy to just make a little bit of a mess on here, press too hard and you've just taken off too much material, and the same applies to the head here. I'll do mainly the body here, so let's get started on that. Keeping your fingers well clear of the belt. So call me intimidated or not, but that's about as far as I'll take it on the belt sander. A little bit scared that I'll just take off too much material where I don't want to take off material. So from here on we get the rough shape with a wood rasp, and I find it a lot easier. Very rough, the wood rasp, but you can control it so you don't necessarily have to take off too much material. So we'll just get the shaping right around the body. We'll probably end up taking off more on the sides here, make it a thinner profile, but that's how to start it off. So you do have that leeway to make mistakes. So let's go for this quickly. Quick word of advice is when shaping, and it's really quite a simple thing, is I like to use obviously my strong hand as my rasping or controlling hand, and I kind of use my wrist of my left hand as a pivot. So if I want to shape, I'm not using the tool around the bait, I'm rather turning that, and it just makes it so much easier if you're doing that and kind of like controlling that turn and how much material you're taking off. I can see already there's more taken off on that side, so we'll try and even it up. That's it, guys. So now we've finished with our rough shape. I think you'll agree it's taking form now, looking quite good. Maybe I can take the glasses off and the mask now. Top profile's looking okay. I don't know if you'll notice on camera, but there's a few little deformities here and there, but we'll get rid of those with a heavy sandpaper now, and we'll do the fine shaping with sandpaper. You'll notice I haven't done anything on the beak or the bill or the caudal peduncle here. I'm beginning to like that word. I think it kind of makes me sound sophisticated, but that's the tail bit, yeah, or the shank. I'll leave that till later, and I'll just do that with sandpaper. Bearing in mind that's going to be one of the sections of the swim bait. We've still got a slot in here to fit the polycarbonate tail, and we still got to make slots for the fins and various things like that. But getting the fundamental shape at this stage is the most important thing. So let's continue with sandpaper and get this thing done. So there we go. We've got a very rough, very nice profile that. We've got a very rough shape there. When I say rough, it's fine-tuned, but I can see little things that need work. And that's about as far as we're going to take it this week, unfortunately. It's been a pretty tough few days. I've got a couple of sick dogs. I've been running back and forth to vets. But anyway, that's how far we've gone now. Looking quite good. It's going to go a lot further. If you like what you've seen, hit like, subscribe, and we'll see you next episode.